Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. As I said at the beginning of this program, we're kind of looking at some companies that right now they're regional, local brands, but you might be hearing about them going national. And right now, all of these companies on today's program are building strategies to take their company to the next level. Mike Donor, he is on today's program. He is with a company called Flagler Force. And Mike, before we get started on your goals for going national, kind of give us a little bit of your own personal story as well as the story, the elevator speech, if you will, for Flagler Force. And welcome.
Sure, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you for having me. The background story to the company is that I grew up in the business world in the temporary staffing industry, and one of the positions that I developed in the 80s was the supply of labor to utility companies to perform traffic control operations. And in those days, the utility companies would establish the temporary work zone while they're fixing a pole or digging a hole in the street, and they would use our labor to control the traffic through that work zone. What we saw happening was that the technology changes that were occurring in that industry were taking more and more of their focus time and less focus on the proper application of temporary traffic control services. So in the 90s, I went to my boss. I was a president of a company, but not the owner, and suggested to him that we could create a professional traffic control company. And his response to me, I'm 60 years old, I don't want to start a company, why don't you start one? And I said, you don't pay me enough money, so they kind of died there until 2002, when the businesses that he was running were beginning to see some decline. And I offered the opportunity if he was still willing to let me start my own company. And he did. We changed my employment agreement. My wife and I developed a business model for this company. And in February of 2003, we put 4 employees through training and began to supply services. We bought our first truck in 2004. We went full-time with this business in 2006, May of 2006. 1,100 employees, 500 trucks, and we serve the Mid-Atlantic region.
Okay. Mid-Atlantic region, say Maryland, Washington, D.C. What are some of the other areas, or what are some of those areas?
Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, and Northern Virginia.
Very good, very good. So that's fantastic, and it's only about a decade old, really.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So what is your strategy for future growth?
We're building a leadership team that the concept is, quote, a branch in a box. And what that means is when we go into a new geographic market, all the process, procedures, and systems are developed so that there's a full strategy of just the implementation and the development of the proper clientele, the proper recruiting strategies. Everything is designed in a process and procedure that allows our team to know what they need to do. And then certainly the key part is developing leadership within the organization using the values of the organization to continue to drive that significant growth.
Mm-hmm. And who do you engage with? What's your sales process like?
It's blessingly very much word of mouth. Our company is unique in this industry due to we are a people-based company, not an equipment-based company. And the intellectual training that we provide to our employees is very unique in the way we manage that leadership development and training component. So our customers oftentimes come to us, and we determine when it's a good match for both us and the customer to change their way of thinking in terms of temporary traffic control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess it's great for them not to have to hire additional employees. I imagine that you do things with your employees that most companies aren't willing to take the time and energy to do, which might lead to lower, helps in the liability area. If something does go wrong, you bring a certain level of training that probably helps in a court case. What are some other things that you do that helps make it easy for them to go to you rather than doing it internally?
Well, the level of expertise to do the work to the specific state standards in which you're working in has risen dramatically over the last 10 to 15 years. and the focus on proper techniques, and you're absolutely right. The liability is a huge concern, and we take full responsibility for what happens within the work zone when we're on the site. So that's certainly one of the big options. Another one is that many companies will have days when they have to work off the road so that they can turn us on when they need us on the road and turn us off when they don't need us on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really a big piece.
Right, and it's kind of like paying for water. You turn it off, you're not paying for it anymore. It's probably that simple.
Exactly.
And unlike when you have a giant crew in your organization that may or may not be working, but you're still paying them anyway, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, for us, we're able to place them on other customer jobs. So we have when you're large regional, we can flow the work to where the work is.
Okay, last question, because I have to let you go. So how do you go from large regional to a national brand?
It's building the process and procedure and having a strategy for when it makes sense to expand, having the people in place to make those expansion plans work. And as a growing business, you go from a bootstrapping do-it-yourself person to a person that hires managers to then a business owner who hires leaders and develops leaders. And they help us implement the process across the spectrum of what we're doing.
All right, Michael Doner has been our guest. His company's called Flagger Force. You can learn more about them at Flagger, Flagger, Force.com. That's FlaggerForce.com. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Kevin.
Hey, I want to put you on hold for just a second. My producer wants to talk to you real quick. Thanks for being with us. I'm Kevin Price. You're listening to The Price of Business.